waved to a bus that passed by to get on it and go to Shimoda. In Shimoda there was a little congregation of 3 nuns, Ursuline nuns, 3 Japanese nuns that had a chapel, and they received the presence of a French priest once a week on Thursdays. So on Thursday I had Mass, but then on Sunday I asked them, where do you go to Mass? They said, well, we go where the French priest is in Ito, up north, 2 hours away from them. So on Sunday I had to do this 1-hour bus drive, 2-hour train ride, have my Holy Mass on Sunday, the 1-hour Mass, and then do the 3 hours back. That was a total of 7 hours, but it was worth it. And now I appreciate when we have all these different timetables to going to this Mass or that Mass. So it was hard, but it was worth it. That really made me appreciate the Eucharist and going to Mass. During that time, those were the first years after I started consecrating my future wife, I started to meet nice girls in show business, but the relationship didn't work out because they didn't have the same values as me. Sure, I invited them to church, we went to Mass, but I felt that they were doing it for me and not for conviction, for God. So the relationship didn't work out. Then I did meet nice girls in parishes, in Catholic movements, and we started to go out, but the relationship also didn't work out because I was always traveling because of my job, and they were always fixed in one city. So it didn't work out, but I still prayed and I still persevered every morning in my act of hope, consecrating my future wife. The years passed by, and I said, okay, God, I consecrate my future wife to you, guide her, protect her, lead her to me today or whenever you want. I didn't say 10 years. And you know how long it took since I started to say that prayer every morning until I got married? It took exactly 10 years. Many of you may think it's a bit excessive, but let me tell you, it wasn't in my case. You know, each one of us has a different story, a different path to go on, but God is there for each one of us, and I needed those 10 years to appreciate and value women. Women are the most beautiful gift that God has made, and we don't appreciate them enough. We really don't. Unfortunately, society puts women in a very low place with movies, commercials, the media. Women are much more than that. For God's sake, there are our mothers. Each one of us has a mother, and we love them, and we love Mother Mary, so we should respect them, protect them. They're just so compatible with man. They're amazing. So we should love each woman, and I needed those 10 years to appreciate that, to honor them, to respect them, to say, no, I'm going to wait, because I had a lot of opportunities to sleep around in show business, but I didn't. After my conversion, I said, no, I want to be faithful to my wife. I want to be faithful and wait for my wife. And I remember in show business, a lot of young people, entertainers, would say to me, but Paul, look, this girl is after you. Why don't you sleep around? You're just here for a few days. And I said, no, because I want to be faithful to my wife. And they said, but maybe your wife is not faithful to you. And I said, well, God knows better than me. I have to be faithful. And you know, God was amazing, because during all this time, my wife now, at that time, she was discerning her vocation with a religious group, with the Regnum Christi, with the consecrated ladies. She was discerning her vocation, thinking that God may be calling her for God. Totally. And she spent 2 years discerning her vocation in Brazil. She's from Brazil. And after those 2 years, she saw that it wasn't her vocation to consecrate her life to God, but still she said, I want to do more. I want to give a year as a lay missionary. So she did that. She went to Mexico as a lay missionary, and that's where I met her. It was funny because this was in 2001. I arrived in this Catholic Youth Congress in Guadalajara, Mexico, and she was in charge with other persons to take care of us, the speakers. And so I was interested in her as soon as I saw her, and I asked for her email. But I was many years praying for my future wife, so I had to be attentive to God's promptings. And well, I asked for her email, to which she said no. And I thought that okay, maybe she wasn't interested, but the reason she said no is because she didn't have one. She just came from discerning her vocation. She was with the sisters, and well, she didn't have an email at that time. Okay, so I was only there for a few days back to Europe. I continued on with my show business life and my apostolate in show business. And after 2 years, in 2003, I got an email from Leah. She was saying, "Hi, Paul, I don't know if you remember me. I was a co-worker there in Guadalajara." I was really excited that she finally got an email. And I answered back right away. I said, "Oh, hi, of course I remember. Are you married?" I had to know. And of course she said, no, I'm not married. I'm back in Brazil. That year in Mexico was fantastic. I came back to Brazil. I'm studying law. And I'm working in a government post. Wow, that's great. And so we started to email each other once a week, then twice a week. Then we needed to email each other every day. The emails were getting more and more beautiful. We wanted to know more about each other, about our values, about family, life, what you want for your future. And I remember telling her, well, Leah, I go to church every day to Mass. Me too, she said to me. Wow, I said, Leah, I pray the rosary every day. She would answer, me too. And I said, well, we gotta meet. This is too beautiful. I was performing around the world, and I said, well, I'm very busy right now, and you're studying and working. I don't know how we're going to do it. And I said, when do you have a long period of vacation? And she said, during the Christmas time in South America, it's summer, so they have a long Christmas break. And I said, well, in Christmas time, I will be performing in Berlin, in Germany, and I know a great family, a nice Catholic family that would host you if you would like to come over, and we could meet each other personally. Do you like that idea? And she said, yes, let me ask my dad. And her dad, of course, said, no. Of course. It's normal, I understand that. So we said, okay, obedience, you can't come over now to Berlin. I was a little bit disappointed. But then, a few weeks later, Leah said to me, my dad has allowed me to come to Berlin. And I said, what happened? She said, my dad was concerned about this man that was invited me over to Berlin, and so he started to ask questions and to ask friends of priests that know you in Europe. And he contacted them, and it seems like they answered him that if you said that there was a family that will host me, Leah said, that it was so. So he decided to give me permission. And I said, well, great. Okay, let's organize this trip. It was such last minute that the only flight we could find was a flight that arrived on the 25th of December to Berlin. So she arrived on Christmas Day. I was really nervous. We had known each other so much by emailing each other every single day, that it seemed like we'd known each other so well, but I was really nervous to meet her face to face. And as soon as I picked her up in the airport, there was just like that peace. Wow. And the first thing I did before taking her to the host family was we passed by a chapel that I showed her, because that was the chapel that I went every day to pray. It was a small chapel that was near where I was living in Berlin, and it was inside a Catholic hospital. So we went there, and that was the first thing we did together. We went to pray, to thank God for the good trip, and we felt really comfortable doing that. So we prayed there, and we looked at each other, and we didn't have to say much things. We left, we went to the family, we had Mass later on, because it was Christmas Day. And yes, those days passed by so beautifully, And we really knew that we were called for something more special. And I remember since the beginning, we both wanted to live an honest courtship, a Catholic relationship. And that gave us a lot of peace. We said, of course, we're going to date, but we're going to do it the right way, to discern if God is calling us to be married. Since the first moment we said that to each other, we don't know, maybe God is calling us to get married in the future. So let's start well. And we said, let's try to live in chastity. From the beginning, respecting each other. And so the days came by. That was the beginning. We said that. After 2 weeks in Berlin, I took her back to the airport. I went to pick her up, and we went again to the chapel, and there was a beautiful image of the Holy Family. And I said, Leah, now you're going back to Brazil. I'm going to miss you terribly. So what do you think if we start consecrating our new relationship to the Holy Family, to Jesus, Mary, and Joseph? Even though you go back home and I'm here, and I'll try my best to come and see you in Brazil when I have a free time. Every morning, let's consecrate our new relationship to the Holy Family. She thought that was a good idea. We did Our Father, a Hail Mary, and a Glory Be, and consecrated our relationship to the Holy Family. She went to Brazil, and I did everything. Just 2 months later, I was in Brazil visiting her and her family, and it was great. It was really good. Everything was going perfectly fine. Meeting her parents, her uncles, talking to her spiritual director. And I said, well, this is very beautiful, but I think we should see each other more often, not just sometimes. And to know if you're called to this kind of life in show business, maybe it's a good idea that you would come over and see what kind of life I'm living traveling around the world. And if you think it's a good idea, and we'll talk to your parents, let's see if they think it's okay. If every time we go around the world, we find a family for you to be hosted. And they liked the idea, and we wanted that idea, and it sounded perfect. So we waited until the following summer that she was going to come over with me during these contracts. But my contract that summer was in a new show in Australia and New Zealand, where I didn't know anybody. And so I said, okay. I was talking to the producer of the show about the conditions, and everything was okay. And I said, one more condition for the show in Australia. I need 2 rooms. And he said, the producer said, why? Who's coming with you? And I said, my girlfriend. And he answered me, well, if she's your girlfriend, why do you need 2 rooms? And I answered, because we're not married. So he was he was surprised to hear that. And he thought I was joking, but he realized that I was talking seriously, and he said, okay, Paul, let's find a solution. I know that Katie, the choreographer of the show, she's touring that show with you during the whole time, and I'm going to ask her if she doesn't mind to share rooms with your girlfriend. What do you think? And I said, oh, that's a great idea, thank you. So we went to Australia, New Zealand, and after a few weeks, the producer approaches us, Lee and me, and he says, Paul, Leah, I see you together every single day. Here in the theater, in town, downtown, everywhere. But Katie tells me that Leah's every night sleeping in her room. I thought you were joking. And I said, no. And he was really surprised. And he said, I didn't know that you court a girl this way. And I said, well, we're not alone. First, there are a lot of young people who want to discern their vocation to a married life in this way, because it's the best way to know if you're really called to be married to that person. And secondly, don't think it's easy. We're made of flesh and bones, and we have our temptations, but with God it's possible. It's possible to be faithful. And he was surprised. Now I look back and I realize that it was because every single day we said in our consecration to the Holy Family, we said, I want to be faithful to you, Paul, and Leah. I said, I want to be faithful to Leah. And we said, I want to be faithful today. I want to be faithful to you today because I love you, respect you, and today I'm going to be faithful to you. And the next day we said the same thing. And the next day we said the same thing. So we lived day by day trying to be 100% faithful to each other. And it was working. It was working because we only have today to be faithful. We can't think of, oh my God, what am I going to do in a week or 2 weeks? No, right now, this is the moment to be faithful, to try to be holy. You you might not get another chance, so try to be it today. And it was working. We stepped step by step. And it was amazing, because not knowing if we would arrive to our marriage in chastity or not, day by day we reached the 13th of May, 2005, the day of Our Lady of Fatima, to the day, that was the day we got married. And we got married in chastity. It was amazing. And we were so happy and thankful to God, because we know it wasn't by our own power. We're no Supermans, we have no special powers. We're as everybody else. But with God, we do have power. With God, it is possible to be faithful. No matter what the temptations are, no matter traveling around the world in these difficult situations, it was possible. So it was beautiful. We got married in Spain, near where we live, in Barcelona, where I live, and now we live. And 3 months later, we had a great opportunity to perform for the Holy Father, Pope Benedict XVI, at the World Youth Day in Germany. And that was really great. It was a fantastic moment. I remember we were very surprised to be asked to perform for the Holy Father. And I said, is there any chance, I asked the organization, that we could get a blessing from the Holy Father, because we just got married 3 months ago. And they said, well, we'd love to do that, but it's not possible. He has everything planned, and we can't change anything. And I said, okay, that's fine. To be able to juggle at 8 meters away of the Holy Father will be enough blessing, I said to myself. And you know what happened? Well, after the show, when I do my greeting to the Holy Father, Monsignor Marini was sitting next to him, who's here right now in Cebu with us, and he makes this gesture to me, which excites me, and I start running towards the Holy Father, and he stands up, and I kneel down, and Leah runs to me as well, so we both kneel, and we get the blessing from the Holy Father. It was amazing. We were so blessed. Yes, so that was August 2015. 2005. It's already 10 years. December 2005, on December 30th, it was a Sunday, Leah comes to me and says, Paul, we're waiting for our first son. Yes, she was pregnant, and she found out on the 30th of December, which was very special. Not only because it's her birthday, but because that was a Sunday, and I don't know if you're calculating well, after Christmas, the first Sunday is the Holy Family. Exactly. The Holy Family. So that was the day that she told me that she found out that she was pregnant. So we were very excited. And so we were planning, when is the baby going to be born? In August. Okay, where are we in August? Because we're always traveling. Oh, we have this contract in Europe, UK, Germany, a few cities. The last city is Berlin, and then we're free in June. Perfect. June we are free, we'll go back to Spain, and in Barcelona we'll have the baby. Fantastic. That was planned, but our plans are never the Lord's, right? We were performing in Germany, and when we were doing our final city in Berlin, the show we were performing was very successful. And they extended until September. And so we had to agree, because it was in the contract. And I said, oh my God, the baby's going to be born here in Berlin. I don't know, what are we going to do? So I called a priest friend of mine and said, Father, do you know any good maternity where you would suggest that our baby be born? And he said, yeah, Sondertrauden in Wilmersdorf. I said, okay, give me the address, Father. So I get the address, and we're driving to this hospital, and suddenly we realize it's the hospital with the chapel that we started praying in Berlin. And in that chapel, on August 24th, I was thanking God for the birth of our first son. So it was amazing. But let me first of all introduce you to Leah. Leah, ¿dónde estás? She's very excited to talk. She loves to talk on the microphone. All right, this is your moment.
Hi. I'm very happy to be here tonight with you, And I'm really happy to see so many young people together. Sharing our faith. Thank you. Really help us. And I'm so happy that we can share with you our story. So many blessings God gave to us. We don't
deserve some blessings.
But
I can translate live.
pero es así, Dios siempre premia el hombre que en él confía.
God always, now I don't know how to say it. God always fills or accomplishes the faithfulness of a person. Is that what you were trying to say? Yes? Sort of. Sorry. Okay. So we were blessed with the birth of our baby on the 24th of August in that same chapel where we were praying the first time, the first place we started to consecrate. And we still do, even up to today, we consecrate to the Holy Family, our family. And let us introduce you to you, Pablo. Where's Pablo? Hi, Pablo. You wanted to say something?
Yes.
What would you like to say to everybody?
Hi.
Pablo, I heard you were born in which city?
Berlin.
In Berlin. Und kannst du Deutsch sprechen?
Ja.
Ja. Wie alt bist du?
No.
Was? 9. So klein?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. You also speak English, right? It's better English. Your brain is now in English mode, right? Good for you. Do you also juggle like your dad?
Yes.
Wow. He does. Pablo? I think they want to see you perform, but wait. We'll get to that. He wants to tell you something.
My first communion. I did my first communion in Mexico.
Did you understand? That was very cute. He said that he did his first communion in Mexico. See? And when was that? This year, 2016? Or 2015? Or 2014?
2014.
14. That's almost 2 years since he received his Holy Communion. And do you go often to church and receive the Holy Eucharist?
Yes.
Yes? Is it important for you?
Yes.
Why?
Why Jesus is here.
Because Jesus is there. Yes. I agree. Very well, Pablo. And you should see him in Mass. He's very devout. After receiving Holy Communion, he really has a beautiful moment of prayer. Really, really great. Pablo, really good. Pablo, let's tell them what happened when we were performing with Cirque du Soleil in Holland, in Amsterdam. What happened?
Joseph come.
Joseph come, our little brother. Joseph, where's Joseph? Joseph, where were you born?
Holland.
In Holland? And do you speak Dutch? ¿Hablas holandés?
No.
Oh, it's a hard language. Aber du kannst auch Deutsch sprechen, ja?
Ja.
Ah ja, sicher. Und Joseph, wie alt bist du?
7.
Yeah, he understood in German. Very good. You're 7 years old. Good. And Joseph, do you also juggle?
Yes.
Yes? Good. We want to see that. And Joseph, did you also receive your Holy Communion? ¿Hiciste la primera comunión?
No.
No? Oh, do you want to do your first communion?
Yes.
Yes? Why?
Jesus.
You can say, puedes decir en español. Cuéntanos, yo lo traduzco a nuestros amigos, ¿ok? ¿Por qué quieres hacer la primera comunión? ¿Me has dicho algo de Jesús?
Porque quiero recibir a Jesús.
Qué lindo, muy bien. Yes, he wants to receive Jesus. Lindo. And just a year later, when we were performing at the casino in Estoril in Portugal, Lili came around. Where's Lili? Let me get on my knees. Then we're almost the same height. Yes? Lili, where? Pablo, give her some space. She needs some oxygen. Lili, where were you born? ¿Dónde naciste?
Portugal.
Portugal. In Portugal, in which city? ¿En qué ciudad? Lisboa, in Lisbon. It's very special because Lili was born on 13th of June. This is the day of St. Anthony, and she was born in the same city as St. Anthony, in Lisbon. And Pablo, you have something to say to everybody?
I make a show.
You're gonna make a show?
Yes.
I think we have to tell them something before. We have to say something first. Something very important.